Hi, Mark. All right, I'm going to do your 30-minute reading. So, you've got a little bit of variety here. You want to hear anything from deceased relatives, family, messages from spirit guides, any pointers on my soul's plans, ways to progress toward accomplishing them, suggestions for future moves, etc., things to be aware of or pay attention to. Okay, so let's see what comes, all right? Just gonna relax and connect with you. Okay, so I'm just seeing a greenish blue color, and it looks like scales, but it's just lines going through it like that, almost like you could create a glaze on a clay structure. I don't know, it makes a crackle type of effect to it. There's something about it that's got kind of a crackle effect. And it's even got like a greenish blue sort of color to it. I'm observing it, and that's all that I can see right now. I'm picking up the object, I'm examining it. One part has this sort of crackle effect to it, one part does not. It's literally like a vase or something. So I'm just going to look at it here, okay? And I'm touching it. So the crackled part is rougher, and I can feel the roughness of it. It kind of reminds me of desert patches where it gets so dry that the sort of ground kind of curls up in like massive patches. And then the other side is really smooth, really soft. Nothing it's nice to touch, right? When it's rough and bumpy, it kind of feels somehow broken or different. It feels something different in the texture. We are opening it up so I can see them like flat pages. One with this sort of broken, and the other is just the soft, smooth. I'm examining the color. I don't know what it is about them. Because each one, I can't say that I don't like the crackled one, but it's really rough. It feels kind of broken up. But I like the way that each one is uniquely different and feels different and means something totally different to me. Although it's still the same object, it's just the same object sharing itself in two different ways. I'm examining what the sort of broken reflection means. Because the paint is sort of chipped up and around like that. It's not perfect. It's not flat laying. It's fascinating. It's like I'm pulling off strips of it, almost like you're pulling up strips of wallpaper. And then there's some sort of pulling, and then it just rips off the wall. I'm rolling this paper up now. As if it wasn't glued on. It's just, I'm rolling it up like a roll of paper. There's some aspects about being in a house, and it has to do with designing it in a way that feels right to you. I mean, I'm literally using a scraper and pulling off this wallpaper, and then I'm just sort of tugging on it, and it's coming off really easily. It's just perfect. And as it comes off, I'm just rolling it up like I'm rolling up paper. And there's a lot of whiteness about it. Almost like a pure white room that I could go and paint whatever color I want. There's something about doing it your way and deciding what you like, what you don't like, and then it has to do with the thing is that I'm looking at both sides of the structure, this sort of smooth, glossy side and the not so, but I can't say that I don't like one or the other. And so it's sort of like, how do I make up my mind? Which one do I actually like better than the other? They have two different meanings to me, but yet I like them both. So how do you make up your mind? But the nice thing is I don't get the impression that there's any complication of making a choice. It's actually kind of exciting. And so I know whatever I choose is going to be great no matter what, cuz I actually kind of like both ideas. So whichever one is actually going to be kind of nice. But I would say that the rougher one is kind of, it makes me think too much of, I kind of like the smoother for some reason. It's just something about the way it feels on my fingers. It feels better. They're asking me, so am I making decisions for you? And I'm saying, well, it's up to you. Whatever this means to you, this is you, for you to decide what you like, what you prefer. However, I am inspired to get a very reddish orange paint. It's some sort of red, burnt orange paint, and I am absolutely mesmerized by the color, and everything is white, and if I can't put this paint on the wall right now, I don't know what it is, but this color is just absolutely invigorating and inspiring me. They're asking, what other things in life inspire you? It's not just about the way things look, the way things feel. It's not just about even, it's not even about the physical reality of choosing a color or painting. It has to do with something deeper than that, not just the materialistic or the surface layer meaning, but there's some deeper meaning to this too. And it's not just about burnt orange. I mean, there's something about making a choice that is absolutely invigorating of the senses, and it is motivating me to into action. I mean, the feeling of this color, it's not just putting paint on the wall. It is, I can't wait to see how this looks. There's something about this color I absolutely love. Something about life, about this thing in life that just drives me. That's a driving force for me. And it's such a driving force, I couldn't possibly not do whatever this is. It makes my heart fill with warmth and inspiration, and it makes me feel like I'm in motion in a good way. There's something about that. Something about that. And making sure, and I'm not getting any impression as though that you're off the train track on this one, because the way you feel, the way this is moving is quite delightful. I don't feel anything disturbing as of right now. I don't feel anything like I'm confused. Life is complicated. There's something really positive, and there's like what feels like options on the table, and options, different options that are good options. So really just the one that makes your heart feel the warmest, and that one that motivates you into action in all areas of your life. So let's see what else. There's an angel coming in the scene now, descending from afar and then coming down slowly like this as a light itself. And then you can see the light of the wings, and then the form of a angel form, and just in the light coming towards me. There's something kind of, it's almost like a man riding a horse with wings. It is sort of kind of what it looks like even too. It just from afar, you see this light, and just the way the wings are kind of like that. They're not fully outward, like massive angel wings. They're just sort of somehow in the way that they are is just, it kind of looks more like a horse with wings and a man flying it, but it's definitely an angelic image. I'm trying to get to it, so give me a moment here. There's something blue about it, like a dark blue color, but then there's also a really pretty teal color as well in the white light. And then there's little streaks of yellow as well. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's almost like putting like a dark blue paint splatter and spinning it and let it kind of come out like that, and then adding a little drizzle of some teal in there, and then some like golden yellow, little tiny little dots of golden yellow, and then spin it, and now make a massive white paint splatter with a sort of a rounded, and then like a, I don't know, triangular sort of part, and then just some lines that come out, and now spin it, and that's kind of how the light is. That's what it kind of like what it looks like. It's super pretty, but it's all in light and it's not paint, right? I'm pretty excited about it. The waves of light are moving as sort of like waves of water, outward and outward in all directions, up, down, left, right, every direction. I feel extreme warmth within my body and within my heart as I move closer. The sensation of moving closer is very slow. I really, really, really want to get to this interaction, but it just feels like I'm so far away from it. I'm trying to get closer, and every motivation I have to get closer does take me closer, but it's slow and steady. So the image is starting to not be so full of just light. It's starting to look like a real place, like an earth space. It's starting to turn into land with grasses, and there's a tree here, and there's a sky. The grass is extremely textured and articulated. Like every tiny little blade of grass, I can see every single blade of grass. And there's really dark, sort of evergreen, sort of hunter green colors, and then really, really, really dark green, and then some lighter greens too. And every single blade of grass is exposed. I mean, there's a pathway here, and every tiny little alteration of the stone coloring is extremely noticeable. I can see every detail. It's almost insane. Are you really detail oriented? Because this, I mean, and the stuff about the painting, there's a feeling that certain colors give me, and the way they make me feel, the way the energy is in motion and waves. There's something about this. So the space is coming to life in detail. And I've seen this angel, but this angel also is sort of showcasing that it is like an older wise man with a very long white beard. It's fascinating because of the interchanging, sort of blending with white light, and then white light that is forming what is right now a man. But I can't say that it's not an angel though either. And I can't say that it is not another face. So I'm just going to continue to observe and watch, okay? There is something definitely about a white horse. There's something definitely about what is a wise old man. He has extremely perfect posture. He's not sort of like the old kind of, I don't know, like sometimes the spirit guides, they come as sort of an older man, they can have a little hunched appearance, and they kind of are kooky or silly, but this one is very, very straight and tall, and he knows his caliber. He knows who he is. He's standing sturdy. And he's old. I mean, let's just say he's 150 years old, but he's strong in his presence, right? He's got very white skin and then very long white beard. But he's not wrinkled. So, but there's something old about the way he feels to me, the way his presence speaks to me. And it's really aligned with heavenly light, white light. Light that helps us see in dark places even. But they're not so much talking about dark places for you. They're just talking about illumination. That's the best word to describe it. He is associated with illumination. He's showing me an ancient text, and on it there's a crystal ball on it. It's interesting because it's like, how are you balancing a flat book with a crystal ball on it? But the ball sort of rolls a little bit and it never falls off the book. It's like, I'm really interested in this crystal ball. How come it hasn't fallen to the ground yet? How come you're balanced so well? That's part of his message too, is about balance. Life balance even. Extraordinary life balance. I mean, he can balance a flat book, and the crystal ball should just be rolling off the edge. Even when the book is even at sort of an angle, the crystal ball will not fall off. Okay, you can defy gravity, you're super being. But he's talking about that too. It just having an understanding of like perfect balance. There's some super wisdom associated with this. It hasn't fully come to me yet. Let's see what all he has to say. He's jotting down information in this book. This horse is real. This horse is also part of either his identity or some other spirit guide. The horse and him are definitely hanging out here as one. The horse even has some wisdom to it as well, but it's not speaking to me so much as this man is right now. A very relaxed sensation suddenly comes. Even just inspiration to sit down and relax for a little bit. Even lean against the horse, which is sort of in a relaxed sitting position. There's even a quiet moment here. Taking in the surroundings and the beauty of the surroundings. Not so much having to look at every detail, but just taking in that it's beautiful. Closing the eyes and breathing the fresh air. It's getting slower. Slower as in more patient, more relaxed, supporting no need for things to happen just yet. We don't have to go anywhere, nothing to do. We don't need time. We can just relax right now. And it's really enjoyable. I really like the sensation of time slowing down, or the relationship with time just isn't there. So you can really find peacefulness and relaxation and separation from the need to be doing things. Even him having closed his book, it's just that we're just focusing on closing the eyes and relaxing. He's starting to lean back more on the horse and get even more relaxed against the horse. There is a really high vibrational, it reminds me of being in what would be like a study of how to raise your vibration through meditation, raise your vibration through peacefulness, raise your vibration through relaxation. It has a yoga sensation about it, because yoga, you free your mind from the feeling of time, really. Then you experience stretching and healing the body through focusing on its needs and stretching and relaxing and separating from the hurry of the day, But it's not exactly yoga, it's more meditation. Creating spiritual wisdom and insight through calming or creating peace within the mind, and even turning off the mental thoughts. He still is quite a reflection of extraordinary balance. Not just balance in the physical life experiences, balance in choices, balance in order to create the right foundation for your dream, to build your dreams upon. But he's also really amazing with balance as it is associated with a human being who's ready for more a spiritual attunement to a higher vibrational experience. And it comes in the form of clearing the thoughts and then choosing a rest state that is still awake and experiencing this sort of creation or the spiritual vibrations around you. He's really showcasing too to pick a location in an outdoorsy, a beautiful nature location, and then actually like lean against a tree or sit on the ground, lean against a tree, or something that's sort of removed from the pathway where there's many others, so you can feel like it's just you and nature. And then start to relax, close your eyes, and then just let your thoughts go and breathe and just experience the sounds and the way the energy feels, and continue to release more of the sensation of time from your heart, from your mind as you're relaxing. And just keep going with the flow of pushing out the need to have all the answers or solve all the problems today, or the sensation of what do I have to get done next. Just keep pushing it out of the heart portal is really what he's showing me, but out of just the senses as well. It's just really, really releasing from even the sensation of the physical universe and really immersing yourself into the spiritual universe. He's really about this right now. Even the horse is going into a meditation. They're showing me what is the sound of like a pin drop and then a spirally sort of sensation. So I'm just examining this new scene. I love it. It's perfect. It's hearing a pin drop. It's perfect silence, and yet you can hear this simple action, and it's very thin and simple, but yet it's so extraordinary in its meaning. And there's something about this swirl that is entirely peaceful, entirely relaxed. Even the swirl itself is like it is in a meditation and is going around perfectly and in just so peaceful. I mean, I'm getting really just sort of relaxed from it. And then there's a spiritual healing element to it. I can actually feel a vibrational sensation associated with this, and it's really positive. It's drowning out more and more of the sensation of sound. I can't believe how loud this world is. They show me even when it's quiet, there still are sounds that can make it feel like it's still too loud. You don't realize it. It's like the mind still senses or knows, even if you're so used to sounds, it just doesn't really register. But it is registering somewhere and in some part of you. Maybe your life has more noise in it than you're aware of. And focusing on finding a place outside of the noise. I get the impression you're really good at making decisions. Nothing in this reading is telling me anything. I mean, if there was some lesser value vibe, I mean, there's something you got to work on. I mean, this would be a part of it. I really feel like just the message is you yourself must have really good balance and grounding, and you're good at making decisions. Whatever you decide to do in your life is going to be a good choice. You're really good at this. So I'm just examining more of the sensation of the meditation or the separation from sound, because they're really encouraging this. They're showing me a new scene. In this scene, we're watching ocean waves moving, and they kind of move, and then this one just starts to curl up a little bit, and then it moves out. It's really strange. It's like it's got that curling effect again, like pulling off the wallpaper and rolling it up. And this one's sort of like curling up carpet. It's sort of knead the dough, but then the dough kneads back and like rolls up towards you. So it's like a weird ocean wave that just pushes out, and then as it comes back in, it doesn't flow in naturally, it just rolls itself back in. Like you're rolling up carpet or rolling up the wallpaper, you're just a roll of it. I'm trying to see if I can possess the rolled wave, but it's definitely water. It's absolutely, I can feel it's water, and it's moving and working the sand, and it's touching the sand with its own hands, water hands. There's something, it's absolutely water. I can't pick it up like it's a roll of paper or carpet or anything like that. I can feel the water going through my fingers. There's something that feels really nice about it. It's completely of its own mind, completely of its own will. It chooses to do things differently than the other waves, but yet it is still water. is still the same substance. It just thinks differently, and how it behaves is different too, and it's noticeably different. But yet it's really encouraging. It really wants to touch the sand specifically. It doesn't want to just rub back in. It wants to roll over and then on the sand. But it's sort of like the fingers are going into the sand. The fingers of the waves are like really wanting to be a part of the sand. Really feeling deeply. There's even sort of an interesting image of massage, like massaging muscle tissue, and really wanting to get into certain muscle tissues in order to create a positive effect. I'm telling you, this wave and the way it feels against the sand and its motivations and inspirations are really lovely. I want to be the sand. I want the waves to roll around on my back. I like the way that it does this. Just something really lovely about it. It's happy in its inspiration. It's happy in its mystery, you know? It's different than the other waves, and it's happy at what it does. It's happy at its role. It's happy in its job. And it's happy to make the sand feel amazing. They're two different consciousnesses. The sand is completely a different consciousness than the water. And the water's relationship with the sand is really deep and meaningful. And it loves to touch the sand. It loves the way the sand feels in its fingers. And it just wants to have more of this bond. And when it curls over, it just really likes touching the sand a lot. And the sand doesn't necessarily have its consciousness is not as intricate or detailed or have the same motivation as the water. The sand is just there to experience the gift of the water. And the sand that experiences it, it feels like this is natural or the way it should be. But the water itself, it seems to have more awareness of what its role is. The sand just has always known the wave to do this, but me as a human being, waves don't just do this. Waves, this is a different kind of wave, so sand, you're really lucky. You got it made. There's a question mark here. If I want to show the sand how lucky it is, or if I want to just let the sand be happy with its experience. And I was saying, I'm not inspired to create any kind of learning or more appreciation from the sand. The water is so happy in its role, and it doesn't expect anything more from the sand. And it just wants to give to the sand. And I think if the sand's consciousness was altered, it might alter the relationship as well. There's a pause here. Let me see what else. They're showing me fingers on piano keys. Fingers actually touching piano keys, like kind of like the waves were touching the sand. And the fingers are in love with the way the piano keys feel and the way that they control the movement of sound. The fingers are in love with the piano keys. And the piano keys are just there to be the sort of device that creates the joy for the fingers then. So maybe that's what it was all about all along. Maybe the sand was just the device that created the joy for the wave. Like the piano then is just the device that creates the joy for the fingers. And there's something too, because in the first two images, it was all about touching the different textures. So I'm curious to know what that is about with you. But I'm telling you, my hands are delighting in the experience of and gift of that the piano gives to my hands. My hands, the consciousness of my fingers are adoring the creation, the motivation to make sounds. If my hands didn't have the keys of the piano, how could my fingers delight in this? And because of the delights, I am creating and manifesting more joy in my life, in my body, in my experience of both physical and spiritual, though, too, because of the interaction of love, because of the gift of creation. Spiritual is creation, spiritual is love. And so anything you do in your physical life that is an element of creation and love, and creation and love intertwined, that's when you know it's extremely spiritual. Put your heart into it and then rejoice in your creations. It's really good. It's a really beautiful message. So, let's see. This old man is showing himself again, and the horse is kind of like in a sleeping or relaxed state. He's got the book closed. It's got a bookmark, a sort of, like just a... It's not your average bookmark. It's just a cloth piece or something. And so it's closed, and then he's giving this book to you. I'm inspired to open it to the page. He is showing graphs, and there are designs that are geometric shapes involved, and there are even writing or sort of detailed inscriptions about some knowledge or wisdom. An observation. I mean, these look like, the shape is specifically like an octagon, and then it has a dot in the center, and then triangles that reach each one of the corners, and that's kind of what it looks like. And there's some sort of, it's like, oh, it looks kind of like a flower with petals too, but it also has something to do with, it kind of reminds me of something about space, outer space. But I can't say that it is about outer space, but it's just, there's something about observation, spiritual wisdom, and then geometric shapes, and then studying or writing down notes associated with it. He's closing it and he's handing it to you. And that's all we know. Now he's showing me something else about stars. And they're just sort of going down like, I don't know. There's a baby star and a little bit bigger star, and then a little bit bigger than that, and a little bit bigger than that. And there's maybe 8 of them, and they're just going down in a swoop like that. He is using his fingers to type or touch a invisible sort of screen here and around the stars. He is grabbing something from up here as well. And he's using both of his hands now. He is closing what is an invisible book. He is shrinking it down in size. He is inserting this into this book that he's giving you. He wants you to have this too. So, that's all I can tell you for right now. Be curious to know what this means to you. All right, so that's your reading. Thank you so much for this awesome experience, and thank you for your willingness to share this openly for others to learn from your soul. And for those of you in the audience, if you're interested in experiencing a psychic reading or spiritual healing with me, please visit my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching.